Welcome to AI Dispatch, your channel for the latest AI videos on YouTube. If you don't want to miss these updates, please like, subscribe, and share. Today's video comes from Lenny's podcast, featuring Marc Andreessen. His central thesis contradicts the dominant narrative around artificial intelligence and employment. While most analysts predict AI will eliminate jobs and destabilize economies, Andreessen argues we face the opposite crisis. Without AI, collapsing birth rates and workforce shortages would trigger economic catastrophe. He positions AI as arriving at the precise historical moment when humanity needs it most. This commentary examines his case. The standard fear surrounding artificial intelligence centers on job displacement. Marc Andreessen reverses this concern entirely. He states that if AI had not emerged when it did, we would face economic collapse driven not by automation, but by depopulation. His reasoning begins with demographic data. Birth rates across developed nations have been declining for decades. The workforce is shrinking. Andreessen identifies this as the actual existential threat, not the arrival of intelligent machines. He frames AI as a solution to a labour shortage crisis, not the cause of unemployment. We are gaining automated intelligence precisely when the global population of workers is contracting. This demographic reality leads him to an economic prediction that inverts conventional labour market assumptions. The prevailing expectation is that AI will devalue human work. Andreessen argues the opposite will occur. With fewer people entering the workforce and AI handling routine tasks, the remaining human workers will command higher value, not lower. Human agency becomes the scarce resource in a world where population declines, but economic output must continue growing. He envisions humans not competing for scraps, but orchestrating vast automated systems that compensate for the missing workforce. Andreessen then addresses deflation, a concept mainstream economics treats as dangerous. Recessions and stagnation are typically associated with falling prices. He reframes deflation driven by AI productivity as fundamentally different. If AI collapses the cost of producing goods and services, prices drop not because demand has vanished, but because supply has become nearly infinite. He describes this as mechanically equivalent to a massive income increase for every person on Earth. When healthcare, education, and housing costs fall because AI eliminates scarcity, your existing income suddenly purchases exponentially more. He treats this as a physical inevitability. Infinite output combined with near zero input costs produces abundance, not economic stagnation. Moving beyond economics, Andreessen offers a philosophical reframing of what AI actually represents. Most people categorize it as software or a computational tool. He calls it the philosopher's stone. Alchemists historically failed to transmute lead into gold, attempting to transform common materials into rare ones. Andreessen argues we have succeeded in a different transmutation, converting silicon, the most abundant element in Earth's crust, into thought, the rarest phenomenon in the universe. This is not metaphor to him. It represents a fundamental shift in how value is created. We are no longer extracting resources. We are manufacturing intelligence from sand. This shift in the nature of intelligence production has direct implications for education. Andreessen describes a transition away from the industrial model of mass schooling toward what he calls a neo-aristocratic model. Historically, only royalty could afford private tutors capable of pushing individuals to the 99th percentile of performance. He argues that barrier has now collapsed. Every child has access to an Aristotle-level tutor in their pocket. The cost of elite-level instruction has dropped to zero, not because institutions improved, but because intelligence itself is no longer scarce. This democratization of capability disrupts traditional corporate structures. Andreessen observes what he describes as a Mexican standoff in modern companies. Engineers use AI to design, designers use AI to code. Product managers use AI to perform both functions. The traditional silos that separated roles have collapsed. He argues this is not chaos, it is the new equilibrium. The future belongs to what he calls the super-empowered individual. He rejects the advice to specialize narrowly. Instead, he advocates for combining competence in 2 or 3 domains with AI assistance, which multiplies value exponentially rather than additively. The new archetype is not the specialist cog, but the person who functions as a one-person corporation. He predicts billion-dollar companies run by a single founder orchestrating fleets of AI agents. Andreessen also addresses a specific technical question: should people still learn to code? The common assumption is that since AI can write code, learning programming is obsolete. He argues the reverse. To operate effectively in this new environment, you must understand the machine at a deeper level than before. Mediocre coders can be replaced. But those who understand assembly code, silicon architecture, and network protocols become essential. The job of a programmer is undergoing a phase transition. It shifts from writing individual scripts to orchestrating fleets of AI coding agents. The human becomes the admiral directing a fleet, not the rower of a single boat. The task changes, but the role becomes infinitely more leveraged. Andreessen then challenges the biological ceiling we place on intelligence. We measure genius on a human scale. An IQ of 160 represents Einstein or Feynman, and we implicitly treat this as the upper limit of useful intelligence. Andreessen shatters this assumption. He points out that 160 is merely a biological constraint of the human brain, not a limit imposed by physics. AI models are approaching IQ equivalents of 200, 300, or even 1,000. He argues the current focus on achieving human-level AGI is a temporary milestone that will be surpassed almost immediately. We are about to exceed human equivalents so rapidly it will barely register as significant. The paradigm shift requires accepting that human judgment will soon be outclassed in every economically relevant domain: law, medicine, engineering. Rather than viewing this as obsolescence, he frames it as breaking a chain. Humanity has been capped by biological limits for its entire existence, and that cap is about to be removed. Andreessen's reasoning across all these domains follows a consistent pattern. He disregards socially constructed fears and focuses exclusively on physical and demographic constraints. Whether it is the physics of turning sand into thought or the demographics of replacing a shrinking population with digital labor, he treats outcomes as inevitable if they are physically possible. The question becomes whether we are prepared for a world where intelligence costs nothing and human value is determined solely by the ability to command it. If you're interested in the video featured in this episode, click the link below to watch the original.